Right, what is up you guys, and welcome back to Progressive Skills in English Level 1 coursebook. In this video, we're going to be going over theme 4, daily life. So let's dive right in here. We have exercise A, predicting content, body clocks. So look at the illustration from a television listing on the right. What does the illustration show and what does it mean? Okay, so if we look here, looks like we have an illustration that shows a clock in front of a person's face, as you can see here, and this just basically means that there's a clock, I'm guessing a timing system inside the human body itself, which controls our activity and when we should, when we feel hungry, when we feel sleepy, etc., etc. Okay, as you can see here in this week's program, Arthur Burns, I'm guessing this is the presenter, looks at the timing system in the human body. He says there's a good time for everything and sometimes there's a bad time too. I guess we'll dive into detail about that in a second here. Let's go to A3. Arthur Burns is going to talk about all the daily activities in the photographs opposite. What does each photograph use, or what does each photograph show? Use the verbs and nouns on the right. Okay. So here we have some some pictures. Okay, so it looks like we have different actions that are done, and depending on the time, obviously depending on the time of day, this is a body clock. So here we have solving problems. This is probably doing work, sleeping, exercising, learning an instrument, coffee, I'm guessing drinking coffee, eating a meal, and waking up. Okay, so let's go to let's go to 4 first. So what do you think? When is a good time for each activity, and is there a bad time for some of the activities? Okay, so I'm going to go over this quickly because we will talk about it and hear about it in a second. So let's just go over this quickly. So when is a good time for each activity? Obviously, it's better if you sleep at night instead of sleeping during the day. This one's a no-brainer. Working is probably best if you keep it in the morning instead of working late at night. Exercising, there's really not a exercising depends on your mood and when you like to work out, so I'm guessing this is just whatever you want. Learning an instrument, again, you don't have to do it at like midnight, but any time else is fine. Coffee, you should probably not drink coffee late at night because the caffeine in coffee keeps you awake. A meal, again, this will depend on whether you eat breakfast, you skip breakfast, or you eat lunch, etc. And then waking up, again, like we said, vice versa. Avoid waking up at night, or try wake up during the day. Anyway, this will all make sense in a second, by the way. So making notes of the main points. So exercise B, let's take a look here. Okay, so listen and make notes under each photograph below. Use the lists of verbs and nouns to help you. You can use some of the verbs more than once. So here we have some verbs and nouns. So do, drink, go, have, learn, solve, and wake up. And then for nouns, we have bed, coffee, exercise, instrument, meal, problem, sleep, and work. So I'm going to let this play for the next 5 minutes, okay? Pay close attention, and I'll write notes after we're done because I can't write it as we're listening. Okay, so here we go.
Track 4.1.
You are listening to Science Today, our popular science program where we look at science in our everyday lives. This week, Arthur Burns talks about the body clock.
Thanks, and welcome everyone. Now, I'm sure that you have a watch on your wrist. Or maybe you use the clock on your mobile phone. But did you know that you also have a clock inside your body? Your body clock is a timing device inside your body. Your body clock changes the level of hormones each hour of the day. Hormones are chemicals, of course, and they travel around the body, usually in your blood. They control the different activities in your body. These hormones mean that there is a good time and sometimes a bad time to do your daily activities. Scientists tell us that we must listen to our body clocks more. Then we will be less stressed, much healthier and safer. Let's start at the end of the day. At 9 p.m., a hormone called melatonin is released into the blood. Melatonin tells the body to get ready for sleep. So, between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. is a good time to go to bed.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause this just for a second. I think it's better if I take notes as we go along because it's quite long, so I might struggle with writing all the notes down and remembering it all after it's done. So he talked about sleeping because he wanted to start with the end of the day. So basically that's going to bed. So here we have this person sleeping or about to go to bed. So we'll say the timing on that was, he says that around 9 p.m. is when your body starts producing the hormone melatonin, which makes you sleepy. So we'll say 10 to 11 p.m. right, and then we'll say go to bed. Yeah, go to bed. Okay? So 10 to 11 p.m., that is go to bed. Let's keep going.
But it's true that too much light isn't good at bedtime. It decreases melatonin production. So, switch off everything, including your phone, if you want a good night's sleep. Between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., the release of melatonin stops. So, the best time to wake up is between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it again, and let's go to number 8, because this is when you should wake up. So according to the reader, or the lecturer, we should wake up at 7 to 8. That'll be a.m. And then we'll say simply wake up. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, so you have started your day. What should you do first? Have a small meal and a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Food and caffeine wake up the body. Caffeine is one of the chemicals in coffee and tea. Between 10 a.m. and...
Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second again. So he talked about caffeine, and we know that caffeine's in coffee. So we'll go to number 6 here, and we'll say, again, 7 to 8 a.m. That'll be, we'll say, drink coffee. Obviously, that is if you like coffee. Okay, don't drink something if you don't like it. Drink coffee.
At 11 a.m., the brain is at its highest level of activity. So this time is a good time to solve a problem.
Okay, so solving a problem is around, we'll say, 1. So right here. So when was that? Let me rewind this for a second.
So this time of tea. Food and caffeine wake up the body. Caffeine is one of the chemicals in coffee and tea. Between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m.
Okay, so 10 a.m., 10 to 11 a.m. That is, we'll say, solve a problem.
The brain is at its highest level of activity. So this time is a good time to solve a problem. For example, you should do your maths homework then. I think that it's all...
Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second. So again, 2 here, this is creative work. So things like the lecturer said, so like your math homework, obviously if you're working and you have some creative work you got to get done, this is the best time. So again, 10 to 11 a.m. We'll say yeah, do creative work. Okay, let's keep going.
Also a good time to do some creative work, like painting or writing. When do you normally have the big meal of the day? Well, according to your body clock, the best time is between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
1 p.m. to 2 p.m. is when you should have your biggest meal, so that's lunch. So we'll say, 1 to 2 p.m. We'll say 1 to 2 p.m. I guess we'll say have lunch. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll say have lunch. Let's keep going.
Why? Because the body is burning energy quickly at that time. Also, it takes about 3 hours to digest the food or take the energy from it. So it is bad to have a big meal after 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Your body is still trying to digest the food at bedtime. And research shows that too many big meals late at night can make you fatter. Okay, so what happens to your body clock in the afternoon, after lunch? At this time, your body's energy goes down because you are digesting your food. Drink a cup of coffee. This kind of drink helps you to get through the afternoon. Of course, you know that in many countries, people have a short sleep, a nap at this time of day. The best time to take exercise is between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m.
All right, so I'll pause it for a second. So we'll say best time to exercise is between 5 to 7 p.m. We'll say, how do we phrase this? We'll just say do exercise. Okay?
Because your lungs are working at the highest level. Your lungs exchange the oxygen and carbon dioxide in your blood. And finally, we are back to 9 p.m. and the release of melatonin. But strangely perhaps, 9 p.m. is also a good time to learn something. Studies show that the best time to learn to play a musical instrument is 9 p.m.
9 p.m. to learn a new or learn a musical instrument. So it's not something that's too hard. So we'll say, okay, 9 p.m. and we'll say learn something like music. Okay?
I believe that it's a good time to study too. So, how can we use the body clock better in our everyday lives? Let's consider.
Okay, so let's go over them one more time before we move on. So 10 to 11 a.m., that is the best time to solve a problem. Again, 10 to 11 a.m. to do creative work. 10 to 11 p.m. Is a good time to go to bed. 5 to 7 p.m. to do exercise. 9 p.m. to learn something like music or to study. 7 to 8 a.m. to drink coffee. 1 to 2 p.m. obviously to have lunch. And 7 to 8 a.m. to wake up. Okay? Now let's move on. Let's take a look at exercise C. Reconstructing information from notes. So you guys remember the notes that we just took? Now we're going to sort of ask ourselves questions about said notes. So ask and answer about good and bad times for daily activities. Use the notes in exercise B. So why is 9 p.m. a bad time to drink coffee? I can say because coffee has caffeine and caffeine wakes the body up, right? So that's a bad time to drink coffee. What's the best time to wake up? Again, between 7 and 8 a.m. is best for our bodies. Okay. When I can also ask questions like, when is the best time to go to bed? Again, I'll probably say around 10 to 11 p.m. Okay, when your body starts producing melatonin. So it's a pretty simple exercise. I'm not going to go too much over it. Let's just go to the vocab box and then we'll move on to exercise D. Creative, energy, exercise, get up, meal, sleep, solve, and wake up. Okay, now let's take a look at exercise D, reviewing key skills, understanding spoken definitions. So how does Arthur define these words? You guys remember what we just looked at we just listened to the lecture. So let's see how or what do each of these words mean and how does Arthur define each one. Okay, so 1, hormones. So Arthur defined hormones as chemicals that are released into the blood. Okay, so we'll say, it is biologic energy, a chemical that wakes. Nope, that's not hormones. So we'll say chemicals that are released into the blood mainly. 2, caffeine. Caffeine is a chemical that wakes the body up. Melatonin, that is a hormone that is released during the night. Lungs, that is parts of the body that exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood. Energy, it is the power to do work. Your body gets it from food and excess fat. Digest is take energy from food. Okay, so hormones, caffeine, melatonin, lungs, energy, and digest. Let's move on. Exercise E, reacting to information. Okay, so discuss the following questions. Is any of the information in the program new to you? Personally, no. I knew most of these already, but for those of you that didn't know that you should probably like wake up at, go to bed at like 10 or 11, that might be a bit weird to some of you, but for me it was, I already know most of the stuff that was said here in this unit so far, or theme. Does any of the information surprise you and why? Again, personally, no. It all makes perfect sense, but some people might ask, why does caffeine wake us up, or why does coffee, wake the body up, and that is because of caffeine and stuff like that. So, if you have any questions regarding this theme so far, let me know, and I'll answer it in the comments below. So now let's move on to the next page. Alright, guys. So now moving on to the next page, let's go to exercise A. Here we have reviewing keywords. Which words connected to the body does Arthur use in the program in lesson 4.1? Find and name each part of the body shown in the pictures above. So we're going to have to name 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 pictures above. Okay, so let's listen to the audio recording first, and then we'll answer these.
Track 4.1.
You are listening to Science Today, our popular science program where we look at science in our everyday lives. This week, Arthur Burns talks about the body clock.
Thanks, and welcome everyone. Now, I'm sure that you have a watch on your wrist, or maybe you use the clock on your mobile phone. But did you know that you also have a clock inside your body? Your body clock is a timing device inside your body. Your body clock changes the level of hormones each hour of the day. Hormones are chemicals, of course, and they travel around the body, usually in your blood. They control the different activities in your body. These hormones mean that there is a good time and sometimes a bad time to do your daily activities. Scientists tell us that we must listen to our body clocks more. Then we will be less stressed, much healthier and safer. Let's start at the end of the day. At 9 p.m., a hormone called melatonin is released into the blood. Melatonin tells the body to get ready for sleep. So, between
Okay, so Arthur mentions blood, and by blood blood here, he's obviously talking about blood that is pumped from the heart. So brain, then heart. Let's keep going.
10 p.m. and 11 p.m. is a good time to go to bed. But it's true that too much light isn't good at bedtime. It decreases melatonin production. So, switch off everything, including your phone, if you want a good night's sleep. Between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., the release of melatonin stops. So, the best time to wake up is between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Okay, so you have started your day. What should you do first? Have a small meal and a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Food and caffeine wake up the body. Caffeine is one of the chemicals in coffee and tea. Between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., the brain is at its highest level of activity. So this time is a good time to solve a problem. For example, you should do your maths homework then. I think that it's also a good time to do some creative work, like painting or writing. When do you normally have the big meal of the day? Well, according to your body clock, the best time is between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Why? Because the body is burning energy quickly at that time. Also, it takes about 3 hours to digest the food or take the energy from it.
Okay, digest the food as in obviously using the digestive system, so that'll be part of the digestive system is the stomach. Let's keep going.
So it is bad to have a big meal after 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Your body is still trying to digest the food at bedtime. And research shows that too many big meals late at night can make you fatter. Okay, so what happens to your body clock in the afternoon, after lunch? At this time, your body's energy goes down because you are digesting your food. Drink a cup of coffee. This kind of drink helps you to get through the afternoon. Of course, you know that in many countries, people have a short sleep, a nap at this time of day. The best time to take exercise is between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. because your lungs are working at the highest level.
Lungs as in, obviously the organs. So, lungs. Here we go.
Your lungs exchange the oxygen and carbon dioxide in your blood. And finally, we are back to 9 p.m. and the release of melatonin. But strangely perhaps, 9 p.m. is also a good time to learn something. Studies show that the best time to learn to play a musical instrument is 9 p.m. I believe that it's a good time to study too. So, how can we use the body clock better in our everyday lives? Let's consider.
Okay, so 1, brain, 2, heart, 3, lungs, and 4, stomach. Okay? Now, let's move on. Here we have let's open A2 and A3 first. So, study the words in the vocab box. Actually, let me turn this off. Each word is from Arthur's talk. Mark each word, whether it's a noun or a verb. Okay, so we have blood, body, brain, burn, chemical, digest, exchange, heart, lung, release, and wrist. Okay, so let's start with blood. Blood is obviously a noun. Body is, again, a noun. Brain, again, noun. Burn, in this case, is a verb. Chemical is a noun. Okay, digest is a verb. That is an action word. Obviously, your body is digesting. Exchange will be a verb. Heart is a noun. Lung, again, noun. Release is going to be a verb, and wrist is going to be a noun. Okay, so that was the vocab box. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's keep going. What else do we have? Here we have exercise B, identifying consonants. So let's take a look at pronunciation check 1. Hearing consonants, the consonants, how do I say this? So you have the soft sound, which is like, think of it as the sound that a snake makes. So think, that where you have to take out your tongue. So think, thing, both. Okay, and then you have the hard sound, which is like this, that. So the difference between think and this, they both start with th, but look at the difference. Think and this, thing and that. Okay, both and we. Okay, and the. So let's take a look at, or actually let's listen to all of these words from Arthur's talk, and then we'll put each one into the correct column. Okay, so this one is for the, I'm just going to refer to it as the snake sound. So the snake sounding th, and this one is for the hard sound. Okay, so think and the. So here we go. Okay, apparently I cannot listen to this. I think this might be glitched. Okay, so I can't listen to this. I'm pretty sure this is glitched. So anyway, that is no problem at all. We'll just do this the good old-fashioned way. I'm just gonna say all of them out loud, and we'll solve them as we go. Actually, I can reset this. Okay, it works now. It works. Okay, this is great. Let's go.
Track 4.2.
Both. Maths. That. There. These. They. Think. Third. This. 3. Through. With.
Okay, so I'm going to start with both. So obviously both is going to be snake sounding, so both. Okay, then we have maths. What else do we have? We have that, so that'll be hard sound. We have there, again, hard sound. Think, where is it? Think, there you go. What else do I have? I have these, that is hard sound. With, hard sound as well. Actually, with, I do take out my tongue, so that's not going to be hard. So, third, again, easy sound. 3, oops, they, through. Maths, book, think, with. I do believe with is not snake sounding. I know that sounds weird to say. So through and this. Okay, so snake sounding ones, these are the words. So both, maths, think, through, third, and 3. And then for the hard sound, we have that, there, these, they, with, and this. Okay, now let's move on. Here we have exercise C, using demonstratives. Complete each sentence with the correct word: this, that, these, or those. Okay, So complete each sentence. Okay, so these hormones mean, okay, let me turn this off. These hormones mean that there is a good time to do your daily activities. Dash time is good to solve a problem. I'll say this time is good to solve a problem. 2. Did you see dash television program last night? Okay, I need this to be in capital. I don't know why it's not. Okay. Did you see dash television program last night? I'll say, did you see that? Actually, I'm going to put that in small. So, did you see that television program last night? Dash cakes are lovely. Did you make them yourself? I'll say, these cakes are lovely. Did you make them yourself? 4. I like dash dresses. So I'll say, I like those dresses. And I use those because it's multiple dresses and not just one dress. Okay? So I'll just say those dresses. Can I have dash file? I'll say, can I have that file? Dash 1. So I'll say this one. Obviously, I'm asking a question. That is why I changed my tone. No, dash 1 next to it. So I'll say no, that one next to it. Look at dash story in the paper. I'll say look at this story in the paper. Okay, so this is exercise C. Let's move on. What do we have? We have D, identifying vowel sounds. Again, so these are different vowel sounds. Let me turn this off quickly. So the vowel sound in then, which is that E vowel, is usually written with E. So think of 10, tell, best, energy, digest. So it's about that E, that vowel sound. So so 10, okay? So 10, tell, best, energy, and digest. But there are some common words with A or EA. It's just the important thing is to hear the sound correctly. Examples, many, any, head. Okay, the vowel sound in her is written in many different ways. So you see the word her, that sound, or that is basically the vowel sound, or the opposite that we want to talk about. So many, any, head. Okay, heard, word, burn, third, sir, and then name. Obviously, I'm not going to say surname, so I won't confuse you guys. Anyway, you guys will understand what I'm talking about in a second here. So listen, which word is the odd one out? We're going to listen to the speaker say all of these words, and then we'll choose the odd one out. Here we go.
Track 4.3.
When. Men. Head. Then. Many. Again. She. Any.
Okay, so as you can see, the only difference between all of them is that she actually has that E sounding vowel, that long E, while the others do not. So you have when, then, men, many, any, head, again, and then you have she. Okay, so she is the odd one out. What do all these words have in common? So you have burn, first, heard, learn, person, work, world, third. As you can see, they all have the same vowel sound. Okay, so we'll say they all have the same, sorry about that, vowel sound. Okay, so burn, first, heard, learn, person, work, world, and third. Okay, guys, so this was the second part of the listening section. Now let's move on. Great, guys. So now let's move on to the next page. Here we have exercise E, identifying a new skill. So read skills check 1. Let me open this first so you guys can get a better view. Here we have skills check 1, what comes next. So we can often predict the next word or phrase in a talk. I'm sure that you have a watch on your, and I guess when you ask yourself what comes next, the logical answer is wrist. Or you use a clock on your mobile phone. Okay, so prediction helps us to listen actively because we're always like ready and expecting new information. Okay, so we're gonna listen to some of Arthur's sentences from the radio program. However, it's gonna be missing some of the keywords. So we have body, burns the energy, chemical, digests the food, released, and tea. Okay, number a word or phrase each time Arthur pauses. Okay, so first pause is gonna be number 1. and second pause is going to be number 2, and that's how it's going to keep going. Okay, so I'm going to play it now, and I'll write the numbers as we go along. So here we go.
Track 4.4. 1. Have a small meal at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and a cup of coffee or a cup of... 2. Food and caffeine wake up your...
Body.
3. Caffeine is a...
Chemical.
4. The human body uses the energy from food. It...
Burns the energy.
5. How does the body get energy from food? It...
Digests the food.
6. The energy in the food is...
Released. Okay, so I'm going to play it one more time, but with the correct answers. Here you go.
Track 4.5. 1. Have a small meal at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. 2. Food and caffeine wake up your body. 3. Caffeine is a chemical. 4. The human body uses the energy from food. It burns the energy. 5. How does the body get energy from food? It digests the food. 6. The energy in the food is released.
Okay, so that was exercise E. Now let's move on. Here we have predicting the next word and a talk. So it looks like we're going to be listening to a talk. Okay, so you're going to hear, actually let me turn this off. You're going to hear some more information about body clocks. Look at the 2 photographs below. They're from the program about body clocks. What is Arthur going to say? Listen and predict the next word and make some notes. Okay, so right off the bat, just looking at the pictures, we have a lark and an owl. And these two are very different creatures, obviously, because an owl, stays up all night while a lark stays up all day. So when we're talking about body clocks, this means that we have 2 types of people that like to stay up at night and sleep through the day, and the opposite, the people which are considered normal, the ones that sleep at night and wake up during the day. Okay, so we're gonna listen first, and we're gonna be predicting the words as we go. Let's get it.
Track 4.6. A. Some people prefer the morning, but some people like the...
I'll say evening.
B. According to Dr. Louis Tachek of the University of California, people are either larks or...
I'll say owls.
C. Dr. Tachek points out that larks are early morning
birds.
D. Owls come out at...
I'll say night.
E. Larks have a fast body...
Clock.
F. They like to do things...
Early.
G. Owls have a slow...
Clock.
H. They like to do things...
I'll say late. Okay, so evening, owls, birds, night, clock, early, clock, and late. Now let's listen to the audio recording again, but this time it'll be completed, so we'll check our answers here.
Track 4.7. A. Some people prefer the morning, but some people like the evening. B. According to Dr. Louis Tachek of the University of California, people are either larks or owls. C. Dr. Tachek points out that larks are early morning birds. D. Owls come out at night. E. Larks have a fast body clock. F. They like to do things early. G. Owls have a slow clock. H. They like to do things late.
Okay. Now let's move on. Here we have just the reacting to information, exercise G. So discuss with your partner, are you a lark or an owl? Explain your answer. What this basically means is talk to your partner and see if you're a night person or if you're a morning person. So personally, I'm a morning person. I don't like sleeping or staying up late. Obviously, I do it from time to time, but I always wake up tired. So I'm definitely a morning person. I don't like staying up late, as much as I can. Obviously, sometimes you have to do it, but I'm a morning person. Let me know in the comments if you're a morning person or a night person. Anyway, let's move on. Here we have exercise H. Read skills check 2. What do the introductory phrases in the examples tell you about the information? Okay, so before we answer this question, let's take a look at skills check 2. So recognizing introductory phrases. So speakers often introduce a piece of information. The introductory phrases tell you something about the piece of information. For example, the writer or the researcher. So take a look here. When we say, according to Dr. Lewis of the University of California, people are either larks or owls. Okay, this beginning part right here is what is called an introductory phrase. Okay, it is used to introduce a piece of information. Okay. When you say, according to the writer dash dash dash, this is an introductory phrase. I'm preparing you for new information. Okay? Dr. Lewis points out that larks are early morning birds. Again, a different way to start an introductory phrase. Speakers often pause at the end of the introductory phrase or say that, but the word is very short. So when we say that, it's usually very quickly. So Dr. Lewis points out that larks are early morning birds. I don't stress the word that a lot. According to Dr. Lewis of the University of California, people are either larks or owls. When I say it this way, there's a comma, so that's about a 1 second pause. Okay? Now let's go back to the question. What do the introductory phrases in the examples tell you about the information? Okay, so I'll say that the first one, this example right here, it tells us, or it rather gives us a lot of information about the source of the information which follows. Okay, which the information that follows are people are either larks or owls. Okay, and then we have the second example right here, which basically shows us that the information is from a particular person. Okay? In this case, it's Dr. Lewis. Anyway, so that was exercise H. Now let's move on to exercise I. Okay, so listen to some sentences from the next part of the program. Okay, so this is going to be strictly about listening now. To the program about body clocks. So we're going to be listening to a program about body clocks again. Make notes of the information, not the introductory phrases. Okay, so take notes from the information that you're going to hear in a second here, but also realize when there are introductory phrases because they will be in this audio right here. Okay, so introductory phrases, the ones that we just talked about. Okay, so according to and a person, and something that a person himself or herself has said. Okay, so let's start.
Track 4.8. 1. Research at the University of California proves that some people are larks and some are owls. 2. Dr. Tachek's research suggests that most teenagers are owls. 3. His work indicates that they prefer to wake up late and go to bed late. 4. But Professor Röneberg from Ludwig Maximilian University doesn't agree. He doesn't think that body clocks are fixed throughout our lives. 5. He points out that small children wake very early. 6. He also makes the point that old people wake up early too. 7. However, according to Röneberg, most adults wake up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. 8. The research into sleep patterns shows that children wake up later and later as they grow up. 9. It seems that females reach the latest point at 19 and a half, and males at 21. 10. After that, the professor says, they start to wake up earlier.
Okay, so that was exercise I, and by finishing this exercise here, we conclude the listening section for theme 4. Right, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.